Crowd SCRMS in shock, face screaming in fear. Kid's voice sounds like a living legend on stage. From the moment 12-year-old Eli Torres stepped onto the stage, something felt different, almost electric. The auditorium lights shimmered across his nervous face as he gripped the microphone with fingers that trembled just slightly. The crowd expected a typical audition, nothing more. But Eli wasn't here to be typical. He was here to honor someone he loved more than anything in the world. Someone he had lost far too soon. Eli grew up in a small town where everybody knew each other's names and where his grandmother, Abuela Rosa, was known for singing old classic songs while stirring pots of warm soup for neighbors who didn't have enough. She believed music had the power to heal, even when life delivered its hardest blows. When she passed away the year before, Eli felt the world fall apart. Her absence left a quietness he didn't know how to fill, until he remembered her voice. The voice that never judged, never turned away, always encouraged kindness. So tonight, on the biggest stage he had ever seen, Eli stood not to impress but to give back, to honor her memory by sharing the gift she once nurtured. The judges leaned in. The audience whispered. A hush settled, thick and expectant. Then, with one deep breath, Eli began. And instantly, the crowd screamed. They weren't prepared for what came out of him. His voice didn't sound like that of a kid. It echoed through the hall with the depth and richness of a living legend, carrying a tone that felt decades older than he was, raw, soulful, full of ache and passion. People clutched their chests. Some stood without meaning to. The judge's eyes widened in genuine disbelief. The song was one Abuela Rosa used to sing, a timeless ballad about love, loss, and the quiet bravery it takes to keep moving forward. With every note, Eli poured out memories, sitting at her kitchen table, listening to her stories, watching her offer food to lonely neighbors, hearing her say, "Mijo, if you have enough to share, then share." That's what makes us human. Just as the performance settled into a gentle rise, something unexpected happened. Eli's voice cracked. Not from weakness, but from overwhelming emotion. That single imperfect break in the music made everything suddenly real. The audience seemed to feel the truth of his pain, the honesty in his heart. A wave of silence fell over them so complete it almost felt sacred. But Eli didn't stop. Instead, he closed his eyes and whispered, as if speaking directly to her, "For you, Abuela." Then the music swelled, and so did he. He hit a high note so powerful, so impossibly beautiful, the judge on the far left visibly lost her breath. Tears streamed down strangers' faces. Couples held hands. A teenager in the front row sobbed openly. The performance had gone beyond talent. It had become something human, something healing. And that's when the true turning point arrived. Toward the end of the song, Eli noticed an older woman sitting near the front. She was crying quietly, her head lowered, shoulders shaking. Something about her reminded him of his grandmother, the soft lines on her face, the calmness in her posture, the way she held her heart as if protecting a fragile memory. Without thinking, without worrying about the cameras or the crowd, Eli stepped off the stage. Still singing, still trembling, he walked directly toward her. Gasps echoed. The judges leaned forward, stunned. No performer had ever done something like this. Eli gently took the woman's hand. Her eyes lifted. And in that fragile moment of connection, the entire audience felt it, the raw, compassionate heartbeat of humanity. The woman whispered, "I lost my son last year. Your voice, it brought him back to me." Eli didn't miss a beat. Still singing softly, he squeezed her hand and finished the final lines of the song with her right beside him. Every word became a promise, of love, of healing, of the kindness we owe one another. When the last note faded, the auditorium exploded. People rose to their feet, cheering, crying, clapping till their hands stung. One of the judges hit the golden buzzer so hard it echoed like thunder. Gold confetti poured from the ceiling as Eli stood beside the woman, holding her gently as she cried into his tiny shoulder. In that shining moment, Eli realized something powerful. Talent could amaze people, but kindness, simple, humble kindness, was what truly transformed them. The host rushed over, microphones shaking, trying to capture the magic. But the truth was already clear to everyone watching. The boy had not just sung like a legend, he had loved like one. As the confetti swirled and the audience continued to roar, Eli looked up toward the stage lights, imagining his grandmother watching. "Thank you," he whispered. Maybe she wasn't there in person. But she was everywhere in spirit. In every note, every tear, every hand he held. And every heart he touched. And the message he left the world with that night was simple and unforgettable. You don't have to be famous to make an impact. You just have to care enough to share your heart.